The college basketball predictions arrived in early November, as they always do, with their purveyors, like their counterparts in politics, expecting little punishment for the sin of getting things wrong. But this season, those time capsules of preseason conventional wisdom contained a particularly stark oversight. Trae Young, this season's most important, most electrifying and, arguably, just plain best player, somehow hardly earned a mention. In a universe where the best basketball prospects are minutely dissected from their freshman years of high school, the collective whiff among the cognoscenti is stunning. It contains lessons for evaluators prone to overlooking players who spurned more distant programs with bluer blood in favor of a hometown team, and also, perhaps, for future prospects who want to shine immediately. Young, a freshman point guard for Oklahoma, exploded out of the gate, dropping 43 points on Oregon before November had ended. Now he leads Division I in points, 30.5, and assists, 9.7, per game. His exciting play and frequent three-pointers have earned justifiable comparisons to Stephen Curry. And he is the primary reason Tuesday night's matchup between number 12 Oklahoma, 14-4, and number 5 Kansas, 16-3, in Norman is one of the season's most anticipated contests. Even though Oklahoma has lost its last 2 games, Oklahoma offered really the best chance, the best fit to what they wanted, said Corey Evans, a national basketball analyst with the recruiting site Rivals, referring to Young and his family. He gets to play a lot, gets to play through his mistakes. Concerning Young, preseason prognosticators missed wider than a Dwight Howard free throw. Young is a strong candidate for 2 of the main Player of the Year awards despite not being selected for either one's preseason watch list. He was not among the 32 names for the Oscar Robertson Trophy or the 50 for the Naismith Award. A likely first-team All-American, Young did not receive a single preseason vote. The Big 12's coaches named Mohamed Bamba of Texas as the preseason Freshman of the Year. Young is a probable top 5 pick this June but did not appear on most preseason mock NBA drafts. Somehow, even in a world in which Curry has won 2 Most Valuable Player awards, the classic story of an undersized player, Young is 6 feet 2 inches and a wispy 180 pounds. Drawing motivation from others' underestimation of him is still playing out in basketball. The lack of respect dates at least to the summer before Young's senior year of high school, when a decline in national recruiting rankings prompted him to refer to a chip on my shoulder. Last spring, he was upset at being snubbed from Nike's Hoop Summit game. His father, Ray, tweeted. The oversight is even more surprising because Young was a 5-star prospect in high school, rated 23rd in his class by the recruiting site 247 Sports. He had the requisite blue-chip offers, and as a senior he officially visited both Kansas and Kentucky, where he took in the Wildcats' famous annual Midnight Pep Rally, Big Blue Madness. Oklahoma coach Lon Kruger offered sympathy for those who did not see his star player coming. "I don't know that anyone could have forecast this," he said, adding, "For him to explode like he did through the first 10 games is unheard of." Unlike so many of his peers, Young was patient. Other players committed to the Jayhawks and the Wildcats before he made his decision, making Oklahoma a more palatable option. His hometown ties did not hurt. And perhaps above all, Young desired the kind of experience and playing time as a freshman that Kansas and Kentucky, with their star-clogged rosters, might not have permitted him. Had he chosen Kansas or Kentucky or Duke, he would have come into the season with more buzz, said the ESPN analyst Fran Fraschilla, a former coach who has known Young since the latter was a middle schooler. Duke also offered Young a scholarship. At the same time, Fraschilla added, had Young, who attended Norman North High School, left home, he most likely would not be playing nearly 34 minutes per game. That kind of on-court time has largely enabled Young's leap in esteem and drawn comparisons to Buddy Hield, the marksman who split Major National Player of the Year honors 2 seasons ago while playing at Oklahoma for Kruger. Other coaches, whether due to their personal style or roster construction, may have limited his minutes or been less forgiving of his sky-high usage rate and 95 turnovers. He picked a school where they had the exact need for his strengths and the coach who'd already proven he was willing to turn the reins over, put the blinders on a little bit to the turnovers, and the bad shots at times, in order to cultivate this young man's brilliance, Fraschilla said. Kruger confirmed Fraschilla's analysis, saying of Young, he was confident he was going to have the opportunity to run things from the point guard spot, which is what all point guards want. Evans argued that Young may not be having this kind of season had he gone elsewhere. At Duke, the offense revolves around 7-footer Marvin Bagley III. At Kansas, Devontae Graham has been a backcourt starter for 2 full seasons, and at Kentucky, Coach John Calipari wields a famously short leash. Calipari admitted as much earlier this month, saying on a podcast that he most likely would not have given Young as many minutes as Kruger has. Hopefully if he had come here I would have realized early, this kid needs a little more room than some other guys that I've had, Calipari said. Meanwhile, if the grown UPS in the room have egg on their faces, the up-and-comers might divine some wisdom from Young's rapid rise and the choices that led to it. It's important to get a realistic picture of what your role is going to be, said Kruger, referring to recruits. A key question, he said, do you have the opportunity to play the role that best takes advantage of your skills? Kruger may have been thinking of Young's performance in Oklahoma's overtime win earlier this month against Texas Christian, the 43 points on 27 shots, many of them circus-like, the 11 rebounds, the 3-pointer from some netherworld even beyond downtown. Obviously Trae's skills fit very well into what his role has been, Kruger said. And the results are obvious.